Hello there and welcome
to the new channel.
Here to help you see
the new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansala.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Argamid.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebastillo.
I'm Dania Cunha.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mapet Erhino.
I'm Leo Bryan. Mike.
Nice one, dear.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar. This is Sunny Haldons.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude. Patrick Geronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
My name is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Healthline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories. Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. Sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC ignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. You're watching The Family Business. You're on TNC. We're here to help you see the new you. Good afternoon. You're still on the family business with Nato Agbayani. Today we have our good friends from Toronto, Rebecca Bustamante Mills and Richard Mills of Asia CEO Awards. So without any further ado, let's bring them in. Rebecca and Richard, Happy New Year in Canada.
Happy New Year, Nato.
Happy New Year. It's the second day here. Hi, Richard.
Good to have you with us, Nato, or good to be invited to be with you, Nato. Very nice to see you again.
Yes, it's great to see you guys. It's been quite some time since we've worked together and collaborated. So hopefully there'll be new collaborations soon. And anyway, we'd like to ask you, how are you? How long have you been in Toronto? Since
we've been here 6 months, in fact.
6 months. Oh my.
We came in July. What's that?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Well, we came in July, and then we had flights to go back the following month, and they kept getting canceled. I think 4 or 5 flights got canceled, and so we thought, well, we might as well stay till the new year and then go back.
Wow. So, well, at least I think you've done Asia CEO online, right? Virtual, and then I'm seeing the streams of the different summits. So how is it? How has it been? How has it been for Shalray?
Well, despite of this pandemic happening, and its technology is so good because we're able to continue the business and connecting more people around the world, not just in Philippines, but worldwide. So that's a positive thing about what we're doing, about our events.
We were able, we really worried what we were going to do, and we were kind of frozen for a while. And then one of our key sponsors said, Richard, Rebecca, you have to do online events. And so they helped us, and they just took off. So we kind of got lucky. We were able to move quickly with the help of others. And yeah, I mean, the online world has really taken off. So we're getting, I don't know, tens and 20,000 people watching our events. So we're really pleased. Absolutely, Nato.
So it's like, in a way, before when we did the events in the hotels, it was like so many people. But now you're saying there are really more people watching virtually, right? And it's really, how has the effect been to your, I mean, to people nominating for the awards, etc.? How has it been?
Better than we expected. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know whether people would be, it's a down year, and we thought, well, maybe nobody's going to have able to talk about anything grand that they've done. But no, we had so many people, not quite as many as our previous year, but closer than we ever thought, for our annual awards event called Asia CEO Awards, just for people who don't know. The largest business awards event in the country. And yeah, our other events as well, Nato, beyond our expectations, right?
Yep.
So I see, I mean, in the Philippines, like, I think the events industry was the hardest hit. The tourism industry was the hardest hit. And the next one was the events industry. We had some events people also joining us in the show. This is our season ender. It's the 18th episode, so we're ending season 1, and I'm so glad that you guys are with us straight from Toronto. So, I mean, you started very modestly with the Asia CEO with Shalray, and then it was a modest beginning, but now you're really very influential in terms of the title of the show, by the way, is Families Who Have Changed the Course of History for Enterprises. So in a way, you've changed the course of the industries in many ways that people can imagine. So can you tell us more about your journey with Asia CEO and how you started it, and then now you're very influential. There's so many sponsors, and there's so many people who are joining in to nominate people from the different enterprises and industries, and it's really a good thing. Remember, Rebecca, Richard, we talked about seeing that the country, the Philippines, as a first world country. And I mean, we've been discussing together with Dr. Bernie Villegas and a lot of people in Asia CEO. So, and we've collaborated and met a lot of people through Asia CEO, right? So I joined the ICM because of meeting Carol and everybody else. So yeah, tell us more about the journey of Shalray when you started Asia CEO.
Okay, so she nudged me to tell. So we started Nato years ago. When we came, we had a recruiting business. So we did executive search, and just in the early days when the BPO industry was just starting, and it was an unproven business, and everybody wondered whether it would continue and how long and this kind of stuff. But it really did take off, as we all know. And yeah, so we were doing recruiting together, and we were placing quite senior people in these organizations. Fast growth. It was very exciting. A lot of employment for Filipinos, and as you know, high-paying jobs with real tremendous career mobility. So it was exciting. But we always thought that Philippines is such a good story, and talking to foreigners day after day like we would always hear the same story. Sometimes they'd be almost in tears talking about their own personal experiences and how, oh, Richard, my Filipino staff, they're just so wonderful. They're the best in the world that I could ever have imagined working with. Many of them had worked in India before and could compare, and other countries. But we thought, well, the message, when you go outside the country or even inside the country too, people often didn't have as optimistic view as what we were hearing. So we thought, well, why don't we put together some events where we can highlight just the positive stories of what is going on in Philippines. And so we started this kind of as a sideline thing, just to, the idea to get Filipinos and foreigners up on the stage together, smiling and with the message and telling great stories, with the message that if they can do it, you can too, that kind of a thing. And then I had to keep doing my recruiting, but Rebecca in particular really took on the event side and has really taken it to become a national and even regional success. I'm not trying to be but it beyond all of our expectations. And again, the message is we want to promote Philippines on a global scale to show people the great things that can be done here by Filipinos, and what they can do in terms of their business and hiring Filipinos and so forth. So that's the message. We want to put Philippines on the map globally and make it a first world country. Is there anything else to add?
Yeah. And of course, Nato, as you know my story, right? Like I left Philippines as a domestic helper working outside, and I experienced the difficulty of Filipinos and how Filipinos were treated outside the country. So I always thought of going back to Philippines and really marketing our country to be a first world country. And basically, that's what in our mind all the time. So I'm so thankful that Richard Mills, being foreigner, as a marketer of Philippines, like that give a big impact, because a foreigner saying nice things about us, about Philippines, like of course the foreigners believe, right? So I'm so thankful having him believing in that by number one, making Philippines as the business hub of Asia. That's the short term. Recognizing our leaders, because who will recognize successful Filipinos? Because Filipinos are very humble. We don't like to talk about our successes. So through the foreigners again, right? Saying something, the greatness about Filipinos. So that's a great thing. That's why the agency awards. Third thing is making Philippines as a first world country on or before 2030. And we strongly believe that, yes, we can do it. We don't depend on the government, what we can do for us, but what can we do for our country? What we can do for government. So every person, as long as you do a great job, that can be done. That can be done. We believe in that. We don't have to have a big houses. We don't have expensive cars, but more on really doing what need to be done to be like a first world country. Di ba kaya natin yun, Nato?
Exactly. So, I mean, you've practiced it. You've been practicing what you've been preaching. So, I met you guys maybe sometime mid 2000s, and through the generosity of my former boss, you were able to support the campaign as well of Asia CEO, and I myself have really adhered to your advocacy, making the country the first world country. That's the thing, no? We sometimes we try to say that government is this and that, and all the negativity is causing Filipinos to complain more. And I don't think that's the direction we should take at this point, where there is a pandemic. So, with that, we've covered how it's been, how it started, how the Asia CEO is doing right now. But when you were starting it, who were the first? I don't know, the first sponsors, the first people who supported you, because right now there's a lot of people supporting. Who were the first ones who came in and said, okay, tataya kami, we want to make the country a first world country as well?
and PLDT.
Yeah. Sige.
Yeah, we're just
Rebecca,
trying to figure that out ourselves while you were talking there. But I know Rebecca mentioned, because she's the one who speaks most to the sponsors, and we're so pleased to work with them. So JLL on the real estate side, the Asia's largest real estate advisory organization. Also PLDT has come in for many years and sponsor, I think, almost everything that we do. Others came in, the Regis Spaces organization. They are just a fantastic organization with and in a special opportunity because of the change to the COVID and all this kind of stuff. They do shared office space facilities. We could go on with others. It was we're so pleased to work with them, and the good thing about them is they stay with us. So we keep working with them.
I think year in and year out, I see the names of the sponsors, and they've been there for quite some time, right? What do you think? What are your future plans? Say, for example, given the pandemic, contextualizing everything and still continuing the advocacy for making the country a first world country. What are your plans for the medium term, like in the next 5 years?
Yeah, you can.
She has bigger plans than me. I'm looking forward to the day, Nato, when I can just let her work, and I'm going to stay home and get better at my shopping skills and things like that. But in the meantime, we've got to. We're getting older, Nato. I don't know about you, but we feel it, and we know that our life is going to change in the next 5 years. So we'll probably be, I hope, not completely retired, but we will need to slow down from the pace we have been going for the past 15 years more than. And so our plans, though, is we've got this business and we really believe in what we're doing. And our friend, Dr. Bernie Villegas, tells us we've still got lots of work to do to make the nation a first world country. So
he never gets tired.
True. He's another one.
Yeah.
So our events side, we really want to build that into a larger and regional operation and get more focused on the tech side, because that side has really taken off, the online media world, like what you're doing right here, Nato. And so that's very exciting. I think the most thing. What would you say?
So we can talk about the next 2 years. So we will really focus on the events online to really market Philippines globally, to encourage more investors to invest in the Philippines. Pandemic is short term, but we have to focus on the long term. So we have to reset, refocus, reignite. So let's focus on reigniting what we can do for this year to the following next year. So it's so many people, so many businesses, especially the small, were affected. So we decided to do a platform that really market all these people for free as part of the CSR of HSEO Forum. So we will launch this platform to really help them. They will just register for free so that we can market them for free so that they can get clients around the world to use their services. So we will launch that, I think, the next 2 weeks, because we need to do this for our country, for all our kababayans. And guys, look, wait for this, because we will market you for free so that all of us ay makakabangon tayong lahat. We will reignite all of us. Okay? So watch for that. Coming soon.
And Nato, you said it right, where one of the biggest industries that impacted the worst during this pandemic was the events industry. These people are out of jobs, their businesses are in trouble. We get calls, especially Rebecca gets calls on a regular basis. And we want to get everybody back to work as fast as we can. So we're going to promote everybody to get this industry back on the ground again and encourage others to do similar things. Well, now we're also a very big user. She spends a lot of money on event service providers and equipment and so forth. We want to so we're going to use these services, but as well, we want to encourage the whole nation to, Filipinos, they want to be close to people. They like being close to people, and events are physical events. We really need to bring that back and get these people back working.
Yeah. Not only the events, but any services, any job.
True,
They'll
all
help you.
businesses.
And this is for free. That's our to you. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So we'll get more to that later. We'll go into a short break right now, but Rebecca and Richard will get back to you after this break. And ladies and gentlemen, the families and business watching us later, we'll have Rebecca and Richard back with you in a few moments. Thank you, and see you in a while. You're still watching The Family Business with Nato Agbayani here on TNC, but please don't forget to watch our other shows here. The Big Picture, HR Hotline, The Fourth Project, Usapang Beauty, COVID Stories, Market Leader, U-Turn, Home Buyer, The Puppet Stories, TNC Marketplace, Yo Law, Money and More, Couple Goals, The Talk, After Shift, Win, Danny Art Show, Foreign Affairs, Healthline, Well Home, Women at Work, Awesome Days, Cybernext, Tech U, The Town Hall, One Day, and of course, don't forget to watch The Family Business. You can see us on our Facebook page. Of course, the new ones, the new show, we have Mental Shift, which is going to premiere on January 5, 2021 with Michelle Maras. All right. So, guys, we'd like to welcome back Rebecca and Richard, straight from Toronto. Richard, Rebecca, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Before we went on a commercial, you were telling us more about this new show or this new plan of yours to have people like register and be promoted globally. So, yeah, please tell us more about this.
Well, people can just go to asia-ceo-events.com and they sign up, start posting listings of the kinds of event services that they offer, and we will promote them, whether it's doing makeup or staging, light and sound, event planning services, musicians, singers, dancers, speakers, you name it. And we will be looking, because we use these services as well. And so that's part of it. So, but we want the whole nation to be able to put these people back to work, because everybody is anxious to get out of the house and back to seeing their friends and family and so forth in real events. But there's lots of online event organizers as well that will be listed, that we will promote also.
That's great. I mean, everybody needs jobs. I think we lost about 2 million. They say, the statistics say it's 2 million jobs, but that's a lot of people and that's a lot of families. So you're talking about 2 million times 5. So that's about 10 million people, depending on these 2 million people who lost their jobs. So this is really a good initiative and a project that can really, bounce us back to where we were at prior to the pandemic. But then again, we need to think there are some industries that have prospered through the pandemic, and there are some opportunities that are arising, like what you were telling us about the online events thing. I know of a group that has really transformed into a full. They used to be a physical event organizer, and they've transformed into a full digital service provider for events. So there are opportunities like this. And what do you think? What opportunities do you see for Philippine enterprises or even families in business who are now watching us?
There's lots to talk about that. You want to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay, she'll cut in with
Yes,
me.
go ahead.
But what we've learned is everybody has to be able to be more serious about doing online business. Whether you're a retailer, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're whatever, a BPO worker, it really is changing. You talk to people in the real estate industry or companies that lease a lot of retail space, office space, they will probably not be leasing as much office space as they currently have. So large organizations we speak to with, let's say, 3 floors in downtown towers are only going to have 2 floors when they go back. So the whole world has changed, and we all need to, whatever industry you're in, you really got to get serious about doing your business online. And I think that's the main thing. I hope I answered your question right, but that's something we all have to do, or else we are going to be in a big trouble, and we're not doing our family or anybody else a good thing unless we do.
It's funny, Richard and Rebecca. I come from a family business consulting firm. It's called Premier Family Business. And it's funny because we used to do all our processes face-to-face. Now, with the digital transformation, so we were forced to really go digital. And it's funny, but, people are supposed to be losing business right now. But the fact is, I think over the last quarter of 2020, we gained more business. I don't understand really, because and then we also were forced to go to digital, the digital space, and we do family culture building, and it's like, are you willing to do family culture building virtually? And a lot of people said yes. And I think it's also because they're also afraid of being exposed and stuff like that. And sometimes I've heard of motivational speakers as well saying, Nato, it doesn't feel the same, you know. I don't feel the same emotion, the same interface. But actually, it can be done. We did the process where we played games online, virtually, and it was even better because you can have a bigger audience. Of course, nothing replaces the face-to-face thing. I know you know that because you've been in the events industry for so long. But what I'm saying is there are positive and affirmative opportunities along the way. And I think it's a matter of maximizing that. What do you think, Rebecca, Richard?
Okay. Well, for me, okay, I could say, right? For me, it's still, of course, face-to-face is still totally different. The relationship, the connection.
True,
but
true.
of course, we find solutions. And the solution doing online, we can complain. And through this, through this pandemic also, it's an opportunity for us to connect with things that we're missing out before. When we were working a lot with events, like we miss out spending time with our children. But guess what? Because of this pandemic, we're able to connect with our children, with our boys, and without knowing that there's something missing out there. So maybe if you're religious, God has a message of, let's reconnect, back to normal, right? And with that, we really appreciated it. And yeah, and the events also were able to connect more, not only with the 200 number attendees, but thousands, 25,000, sometimes 100,000 that you're connecting worldwide. So it's a big opportunity. So that's how we look into it. Okay, how about you, Richard?
Well, okay, all very true. What we also need to remember is young people, they relish in living online. They are very comfortable communicating with their friends online, shopping online, working online. So if you're going to be serious about your own family business, all of us need to really be serious about working online, because the world is going that way, no matter what we talk about, whether it's right or wrong or whatever. I too also miss the face-to-face thing that we used to, that I really enjoy, meeting people at physical events and so forth. But this is the reality of the world, and it can complement your physical work. Rebecca, as you know, Nato, she's also called upon regularly to be a keynote speaker. And she, recently with online, she's done quite a bit for Nestle and a number of other big organizations. And she too has mentioned, the impact of speaking online is a very emotional one, and it's very powerful. And you do lose some of that when it's online, but people like it. And the good thing is you can record it and play it over and over again. So if you go online to her, she's had some programs, what Rated K is one that she did, and some of her other ones. The number of views during this pandemic of her programs have just been remarkable. So her, the one Rated K I mentioned, I know just her YouTube posting is what, 1.8 million views or something like that, almost doubled over the past 6 months. And then on the ABS-CBN websites, it's up close to 25, 30 million people just for that one program alone.
Wow.
All of her other shows have really skyrocketed in the number of views. So like you said, Nato, there's positives and there's, not so positives, but you have to adapt for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think that's the best thing that we really need to do, is really to adapt and really be adept at it. It's really like it's a whole new ball game, but the same in a way, because I think in this show, the family business, I've interviewed a lot of people who were positively affected. For example, I'll give you the first episode we had was with Mega Sardines. And you see, when the pandemic started, people were the government was giving a lot of they call it ayuda, no? I mean relief packs, and they were composed of sardines, and they were getting orders from everywhere. Even in education, I know Mylene, Aviva, Rebecca, and Richard, right, from Felta. So
Yes.
they have this tablets, and they were getting a lot of orders because it was going online.
Interesting.
So I mean, it's really a matter of really. It's really a matter of adapting to the situation, right?
Yes, it is. We really have to adapt and be serious about it. If we don't, we're going to really be in trouble. Yeah.
Okay, so let me put it this way. What do you think should be the priorities of maybe the government or industries in the Philippines in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? I mean, if you were to like change things, what would be your priorities to really get back on track for the Philippines? It's not political. I mean, it's really just.
No, we think we've been big. So we always want to support the government, and we think that they're doing good work. Absolutely. I mean, you can point fingers and say they made a mistake here or there, but who doesn't make mistakes? And so what? But they are doing something. And it's impressive to see everything that's happening. But I think we also, I mean, the country has to adapt. So right now, what is going on in the world is a lot of people are working at home. These are people, I don't know, even friends of mine here in Canada who are working online. And they are paid a lot of money to do that. And pretty soon, people are going to, business owners can look and say, well, gee, maybe since the person is working online anyway, maybe we could hire a Filipino or an Indian or a Costa Rican or something like that. What we want them to say is we want to hire a Filipino to give them this job. And people can work from online at home or at a Regis office, whatever, and do their work very effectively and really be a part of an international economy in the U.S., Canada, or wherever the country is. So this is the next big phase of what used to be called business process outsourcing, but what we now call just business. This is the new reality, and there are, really only now. I don't want to go too long about this, but really it's only been the largest companies in the world that have done this international outsourcing. Mid-sized companies, small companies, family companies you're talking about, they have not done this yet. And this is a very big segment, as you know. Roughly 30 million jobs are at stake here. And Filipinos could really get a large number of these things. So we need to make sure that Filipinos are ready for these jobs, both from a skills education perspective and their connections. We want to get everybody connected. So we want to keep talking to our friends at PLDT and IP Converge about really promoting this and getting people online so that they can really take part in this global economy that is now coming, because every industry is moving this direction, and it's a big opportunity for Filipinos.
Yeah, I think that's the point, right? Rebecca, Richard, it's really getting people connected and preparing them for, I don't know what you call it, employability or skills wise. We need to really have focus on human capital development, right? To be ready for the new normal, as they refer to it, right?
Yeah. Maybe I can also add that our kababayans to really upgrade yourself, go online, study as much as you can, get a degree. It's so cheap. You don't have to go to university to really find jobs. But if you really want to improve yourself, take courses online, go to YouTube. And guys, you can find job online for unlimited opportunities. And that's the beauty about technology right now. It's all in your hands. If you want to be successful, if you want to overpass these pandemic things, if you want to do great, Go online, study, and you can get jobs. I guarantee you. So that's my message.
That's right. That's right. Yes, Richard.
Well, I was going to say, Dr. Bernie, we had him speak. Bernie Villegas, our friend, is always an excellent speaker and always gets large numbers of people to watch him. But we were quite surprised at an event we had, a month or so ago, where he really said the future is online for education. Even, big programs like the MBA and so forth really has to go online. And like Rebecca said, this really is a big opportunity because people can learn, take courses online and build their skills. Do this now. Don't just sit at home watching cat videos and things like that. Really upgrade your skills, and you're going to have opportunities because there's a lot of people looking to do more work with people online.
True, that's true. So, all right. So before we go back and discuss more of this, we're going to another short break. But later we'll talk about how people can really develop skills and adjust to the new normal. And yeah, we'll get back to you with Richard and Rebecca after this break. Welcome back to the Family Business with Nato Agbayani. So we'd like to thank all those people who have supported us. Of course, there's Apple and Lloyd, the founders of TNC. We thank you to Marvin Chu Lim, Jacob Kabuchan, Mylene Abiva, of course, Neil, and of course, Dr. Cecilio Pedro, Teresa, Mark Concho, Shawi Cortez, Isa Paredes Mercado, of course, John Ramos. We'd like to thank Jan and JC Camaso, of course, Kathy Salimbangon, and then Virgilio Paralisan, also Ao De Leon and Terry Faris. And we'd like to thank also Jojo and Rodora Fresnedi, of course, our friend from Singapore, Christine Wong, and who else? There's so many to thank. Also, Adet Puerto, Orly and Mitch Ballesteros. Of course, we have Colleen Palaganas and Nando Roa, Clifford Espinosa, of course. Also, Giselle Batapa Sige and attorney Arnel Sige, Bernadette Herrera D, Marlene M. Ortiz, of course, Ambassador Henrietta De Villa and Ana De Villa Singson. And right now, we're back with Richard and Rebecca, and we'd also like to thank them for being in our last episode for the season. Rebecca and Richard, welcome back. So there's so many we've interviewed already. And you were supposed to come in midway of the season, but I think this is the best time, that because it's a season ender. It's also a positive note coming from a couple who's really supported the effort for the Philippines to become a first world country. You know that we're one with that advocacy ever since, and we want that thing to happen. So right now, we're into our last segment. It's so quick, right? We're into our last segment of about 10-15 minutes. Let There are people watching us, families in business and entrepreneurs, enterprises in general, having changed the course of history for a lot of enterprises. I mean, you as a couple have done this. What inspiring words can you tell our viewers to really thrive through this pandemic? Yes, please tell us what you think.
Me? Well, don't lose hope. I know one of the reasons for we thought for doing our events business was, yes, to promote Philippines and give it a really good name to the world, especially world's business leaders who, you know, can invest and provide new employment and well-paid jobs for Filipinos. But also sometimes, you know, Filipinos, they're for such a smiling, sweet bunch, they can sometimes be a bit gloomy about themselves. And so with our events, we only wanted to promote and present the positive stories, the real, of which there are many. Yes, anywhere you go, there's going to be negative stories and stories of gloom and so forth. This is not what we do. You can get that anywhere else, but we're not doing that. We only tell the positive stories because there's so many, and partly to give Filipinos, you know, a positive story. You know, Bernie tells me, our friend that you mentioned, but that many young people of his graduate students, in surveys, they will say things like, you know, when asked, what do you think of, you know, your success and what do you want to do when you graduate? And the number one reason is too often to leave the country. They think success is to leave the country. And how are we going to build a first world country when, you know, our university graduates think of success as leaving the country, when the rest of the world sees Philippines as one of the world's great growth opportunities that there is, with a young population, growth and jobs and opportunities. So this is the message we want to promote. And we want to say this to you, everyone. Yes, it is difficult right now, but I'm telling you, it's difficult everywhere. And the economy, though, is ready for a burst, probably more like an explosion, I would say. Vaccines we all read about are being shipped as we speak, and the economy will come back. And there's very few countries in the world that have large numbers of high quality young people like Philippines has. The rest of the world is aging. Philippines is the only country in the world that has large numbers of English speaking, educated, enthusiastic young people that are pleasant to deal with. So, you know, how are we going to lose? Well, if we don't promote it, we will, but we think it's a good story with a big future.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rebecca, what do you think?
Always look at, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So what's happening right now, it's okay. Because guess what? There's always light, and the light is in us. Where we see things, you know, be positive all the time. We cannot complain. What we can do, like, you know, a lot of people, they're like now complaining, no food to eat. But you know what? If you plant kamote, just even in a pot, you can start harvesting kamote, right? Then you have food to eat. If you plant some malunggay, even ang bilis lumaki nun. So it's always figuring out, finding ways. You know, we all gone through it. I've been there, so I know. Okay? So let's find ways right now, short term, but long term, it will turn around. It will bring back, as what Richard said. Okay? There's no other way but to go high. That's Philippines.
That's right. I agree, no? Especially about the gardening thing. I've started my own garden here because it's very, we used to think, oh, gardening, it's crazy, you know, why do you have to do that? But come to think of it, if every home had a garden and they have food to eat there, it's healthier, they know where it comes from, and it's not full of chemicals. There's this book by E.F. Schumacher, Small is Beautiful. So it's actually not the bigness or the magnitude of the economy, but it's really making small things work and create value for everyone. So I think it's a matter of really finding, it's really becoming minimalist in a way, because we used to be like consumers, and we just created a lot of waste. So it's really finding value in the small things and making that bigger and creating bigger value for that. Also for business to invest in social impact projects like what you're doing now with your CSR. Because at the end of the day, if we invest in social good, this is going to really change the whole economy at the end of the day. So, I'm so glad you're with us. I'm so glad you joined us. For a fact that I've been trying to catch both of you. But unfortunately, Toronto's like 13 hours. It's still January 1 there, and it's January 2 now here. And I'd just like to say Happy New Year. Thank you for inspiring so many Filipinos, not just ordinary Filipinos. You're also inspiring a lot of industries, businesses that are changing. In fact, are being inspired by what you do in Asia CEO. We really need role models, and these role models really change the game for a lot of other people. So, Richard, Rebecca, I'd like to thank you for joining the show. I know it's such a short time. We'd like to have you more on TNC. Hopefully, after this show, maybe we can meet again. And we'd like to really have you on the network, I think, maybe.
Can I say something before we close?
Sure. No, it's okay. We have a few minutes.
Okay.
Yes,
To all
go ahead.
our kababayan, it's 2021, so let's refocus, reset, reignite, okay? So let's work together to make Philippines a first world country, and we strongly believe kaya natin. So let's do it.
Amen.
Yes.
So that's right. So before we go, there's what we call the word of the day every time we end the show. This is the season ender, and it comes from Isaiah 61, year of the Lord's favor. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners. So that's Isaiah 61. And again, Rebecca, Richard, I'm so glad to see you again. It's been so many years that we have not seen each other physically. And now we're here on the show, and it's our season ender. We'd like to thank all our guests for this season. And lastly, of course, we'd like to thank you for what you've done for the country. And we hope in our lifetimes, we will see that the country will be a first world country like what we dreamed of. Where, like you, Rebecca, you were an OFW, so our people will come back. And remember, Dr. Bernie always says, okay, these are the things that really perk up the economy. One is local tourism, but that's got a hit. And then also the OFW remittances, and of course our very young population. So it's been consistent, and I think at the end of the day, our country will rise again. So with that, Richard, again, I'm so grateful for having you straight from Toronto and joining the show. We'd like to thank also our founders, Lloyd Luna and Apple Esplano Manansala, my good friends. So with that, we'd like to thank everyone for joining the Family Business with Nato Agbayani on our first season. Hopefully, we will have more seasons moving forward. And that's it. Thank you for joining us, and good afternoon to everyone. God bless you all. Rebecca, Richard, God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us in the Family Business with Nato Agbayani.